So when we create any kind of a relationship, there is a parent side and there is a child side, right? So what kind of relationships do we have, right, in Salesforce? Relationship fields that we can have between objects. Anybody can answer?
Lookup and a master detail.
Absolutely right. So there are two kinds of relationship field which we have talked about, lookup and master detail. So if you both are created on the child side, right? Lookup field I will create here, or a master detail field I will create here at the child side, right? Apart from that, so when we create a master detail relationship in a child side, in that case, in parent side, there is a special field that we can create. It's called roll up summary. Okay. This roll up summary can be created also for some standard objects. As we already know, a master detail field can be only created on custom objects, right? Master detail field cannot be created on any standard objects, right? Lookup you can create on anything, custom objects as well as standard objects, right? The roll up summary can be created on the parent side only when either there is a master detail custom object as your child, or there are some special childs. Like in account, I can create it from opportunity. That's it. One or two standard objects supports roll-up summary, which is already there. So you don't have to create it. So Salesforce automatically gives some roll-up summary. But roll-up summary, you will not. So roll-up summary will not be able to create at parent side if you are not using these special relationships like account and opportunity, or if it is not a master detail. Is it clear now? Good.
Yes.
So what can you do in a roll-up summary? In roll-up summary, you can count your children record. How many child records are there? You can do a summation of any field of your child records. That summation must have any number field, right? Otherwise, it's not possible. Or numeric field. It can be percentage, number, anything. Minimum, maximum. These four functions or four things I can do in my roll-up summary, right? So now let's go back to Salesforce and check this. Let me check first if I have any standard object or not. This object is already there. So let's go to this object. Do I have a lookup field? These are standard lookup fields. It is not connected to account. So if I go to account, sorry, not here. If I go to account tab, sorry about it. If I go to account and I create a new field, I have a roll-up summary, right? If I do a roll-up summary, what kind of objects can I roll up to? You see, it will give a count, sum, min, max, as I already told. What are the objects it supports? It only supports rollups for these two objects, entitlement and opportunity. These are both standard objects, right? You see, the account is the parent of almost all the objects in Salesforce, right? All standard objects has account lookup. But I'm not able to do any kind of rollup from any other objects, right? So now let's go back to this object once again, application object. And here, let me create a master data relationship with account. What it says is very important. Cannot create a master data relationship. Why it is not able to create master data relationship? This will be your certification question or sometimes interview question also. So please pay attention to this problem. You cannot create a master data relationship on an existing custom object if records already exists. Why it is not allowing? Anybody can answer? Why it is blocking me? What are the differences between master detail and lookup? Anybody? The main difference between lookup and a master detail is that a master detail field is mandatory. Lookup field is not mandatory, right? So if I allow right now to create a new field, that is a master detail field, what will happen to the existing objects, existing records? In that existing records, this field will be blank, right? Nothing was selected. That is a violation of that mandatory requirement. Everybody got it? Why it is not allowing me? So there are two options right now to fix this. Either I delete all the records from application object, or I have to first create a lookup relationship with account and then fill that field for all records and then change it to master data. I will not go into that route. We will just directly go and don't think it will allow me to delete everything. Oh, sorry. Creating accounts. I should do this. So now I have deleted existing records of application. I can go back now to the application object and create a master data relationship. Now it will allow me because there are no existing records. So there is no violation. Okay. I will also create a numeric field called amount. If I create a numeric field, it must be, the length might be 18 characters. If you want to do decimal also, then you have to, whatever you minimize here, you have to put it here. The total must be 18. Okay. I'm keeping it simple now. So two fields I have created. One is account, one is amount. Let's go to this application record. And if I create a new application, now it will ask me caching is killing us. Okay. What is the page layout? We have created one page layout. We log out and log in. What is going on? Usually does not take so long. Working behind the scenes. Let's see. is going on? Anyway, I think there is some problem on this order. It's not allowing to launch. Okay, let's do this on a separate org. Let me see if this object is here or not. It's not there. Let me create a custom object. I create a number field. Let me check if we already have a tab. Let's create a custom tab. Great, all set. So now we have created a new tab, new object application, and we have brought back whatever we were trying to do there. If I now refresh it, we can see account object, amount field, and new application. Okay. So now the idea is, if I go to account, this is added here as an application, right? It is added here as an application. So if I do a new, this is automatically filled up, so it is better. App 1, amount 10. App 2, amount 20. App 3, amount 30. App 4, amount 40. So I have created 4 applications with amounts each, right? What I want to do right now is that I want to see the total of these 4 applications in this layout here. I want to see what is the total amount that has come in application for this account. If that is a requirement, this is a classic case wherein roll-up summary will be useful, because the application is basically a child object of account. So I will go to account, field and relationship, new. Here I will go to roll-up summary. And I will say total application amount. Yeah. Which object do I summarize? Applications. I can do it counting of application. I can do sum, min, max. So let's do a sum. Which field I want to count on? Amount. I can filter out some objects also if you want. Only records maintaining this criteria. I can filter out some for this calculation if I need, but I am keeping everything. Adding this field on my account layout. Done. So if I go back to my account and refresh the screen, I hope we will not suffer from caching again. Total application amount is now showing up. Why 100? Anybody? What is happening? Everybody has fallen asleep.
No, sir, not asleep. Total application amount is 100 because it is the roll-up summary and it has been summarized.
So where is this 100 coming from?
From
Sir, 10 plus 20 plus 30 plus 40.
Absolutely. 10 plus 20 plus 30 plus 40. If I had gone to this account record, right, instead of creating this field, this roll-up summary field, I edit this. And instead of doing sum, I do a min. What would have happened? What will show up in account page?
Sir, it will show
10.
up. So, app 1 or it will show 10.
It will show 10. It will show the amount, right?
Yes, sir.
It will not show app 1. It will show 10.
Okay, sir.
And max, what will it show?
40.
40.
Sorry.
What will it show if I do a count?
4.
4. Absolutely right. Yeah. There's nothing difficult, right? Why are you so edified? So total application amount is the total, all the amounts put together. I add it up. I do a summation of that and I put it on the parent, right? The child objects, child record summation of any field can be done and it can be put into the parent. And that is the job of a roll-up summary. Okay. Automatic calculation. If you add a new value now, it is not saved. Okay. This field value is not saved. It is automatically calculated when you're opening this account. So if I go back to this related list and add a new app 5 and add 50, go back to this detail page, you see automatically this changes. Okay. So this is not saved. This value is not saved in database. It is runtime getting calculated when it is showing the value to you. So it will always show you the fresh calculation with whatever records exist at that point. If I delete some records, it will go down. Okay. So that is the job of a roll-up summary field. Roll-up summary field are not saved into database. Roll-up summary field are calculated on the fly and shown to you based on the current status of the records. Okay. Very important to remember. Now let's go back to another record. We say that on my child record, which is the application, I want to calculate a difference between the total amount and whatever amount is there on that record. What will I do for that? Can I do this in Salesforce? What kind of field will I be using? Anybody wants to give a try? I am opening this page. Look at it carefully and tell me what is a good field to use for this? Can I even use?
we can use formula.
Okay, fantastic. Formula. Now help me build the formula. What is a formula field?
Hello.
What is a formula field?
So formula field is something like we can do the required expression according to our choice, but we have to, so some inbuilt function will be there. So we have to just apply all that to fulfill our requirement.
Roll-up summary and formula. Both are different types of fields which you can create. Roll-up summary only you can create on the parent of a master detail or special standard objects. Clear? Special standard object like account. Otherwise, it is not possible. Formula field you can create on any object. Roll-up summary allows you only to use sum, min, max, and count calculations. Apart from that, you cannot do anything else. And this only you can do on your child records. Formula field allow you to do any calculation, provided you are using the fields of that same object or fields from parent. Okay, that means in formula field you can use the fields of that object itself, or you can use the fields from your parent object. That means if you have a parent, lookup parent or a master detail parent, then you can pull the fields from your parent. So what are we trying to do in our case? What is the requirement we have? We have application object, where one of the field is called amount. I want to calculate the difference between this amount and the total, right? Now total is there in which object? Total is there in the parent. And amount is in application object. Total is in account. My requirement is I want to show total minus amount where? In application object. Right? Let's see how to do this. Is it clear before we jump into this? Everybody understanding what is going on?
Yes.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead. So right now I am going to application. This time I am selecting a formula field. I can create any kind of formula. What is a simple formula? Just to calculate difference. Let's name it difference. What kind of calculation am I doing? What kind of data types is getting involved? Number field, right? We took total is also a number field because it is adding up the totals, the amounts, right? So I will choose appropriate data type. It's a number field again. Decimal place is not needed because in number field we also did not choose decimal. I can hand type the formula here if I want. People who are well versed with Salesforce can hand type it, but it is easy to use these things if you are not hand typing. And I will always recommend you to use these so that there is no problem for syntactical mistakes. Okay, so always use this. So what I am trying to do first, I am trying to go to simple formula, insert field. I need to go to account field, right? If you go simple formula, you will see I am not able to access the accounts fields here. But if I go to advanced formula and insert field, I can traverse to, you see, this account. And account arrow will give me all the fields. If I just select the account, then it will give just the account ID. But if I go the account arrow, then it will, all the account fields will come up here. Then I can select the total field. What was the name? Forgot the name. Did I open it wrong? What is going on? Oh, this Chrome. Sorry about it, forgot it. Anyway, so right now I will go to the number field. Change this to, oh sorry, forgot the name. Difference. You see, so here I am not getting that field, right? So I go to advanced formula, insert field, I go to the account. Now I take the total app amount field, right? And it's a custom field. That's why it is __ C. You see the API name is coming here. What is this? __ R. If you are pulling any field from your parent record, then directly you cannot use the field name. You have to put this, that object name __ R to tell that this is a relationship dot and then the field name. But for your own fields in this object, you just insert your new your field, amount field, right? That's it, amount. So I am pulling accounts field minus my field. This minus you can also insert it from insert operator, that is subtract. Same. Check syntax. All green, no errors. Next. Next. Save. So what happens now? If I go to now application object, these are the application records we created, right? If I open these, you see, it is calculating the difference. What was the total on the parent record?
150.
50.
So 150 minus 10. If I go back, 150 minus 20. If I go back, 150 minus 30. Same. Every 150 minus 50, 100. What if I change this to 60? Why there is no change here?
Because the sum has also increased.
Absolutely. So now the total is what? Total is 160.
Yeah.
160 minus 60. That is why the difference is the same. Amount has changed. Okay. So now if so this is again calculated on the fly based on what is the changes that is happening. So please remember any value which got saved. This amount field is getting saved in database. This value automatically is affecting all the calculation, all the formula fields and rollup fields. So rollup field is automatically changing. That rollup field you have used inside another formula. So it's like using a formula inside another formula. Yeah. When you are using fields from other object except apart from your objects, in that case, it is called a cross object formula field. Right now, we created a cross object formula field because that formula is not only using your own fields, that same object's fields. It is also using fields from the parent. All clear? So formula is a very powerful tool. Through formula, you can do any kind of calculation on the fly. You can add two fields. You can calculate between two fields. And there is no need to do this calculation, save it manually, right? So you can do that automatic calculations on the screen and show it to users. So that's a great feature of Salesforce. Now, let's talk about another thing. So if I go to account, let's see. Yeah, this is the account field. If I save, it is asking me for the account name, right? I do a test today. I save it, right? No other fields is needed. What if in my business, I want to create an account wherein I want to make this account number mandatory? There are many ways of doing it. First and foremost, you can go to the account object. This is standard field, please remember. Account number is standard field. So if you go to this field, if you edit this field, you cannot make this field mandatory. If you see, there is no option of making this field mandatory. Standard objects cannot be made mandatory at the field level. Okay, so that is a problem. But still I need that. That is my business. I don't want to create a custom field for this, right? Makes no sense. Easiest technique of doing this field would be to go to the page layout, go to the layout which you are using or assigned to user. On that account number, if you go to this branch button, you can make it required. You see, red star has already come. That means if you go to account now, try to create an account. You see, account name and account number both are now required. If I just test today 1 and I don't fill the other value, it will not allow me to fill it. But this is mandatory only for this layout which I changed. It is not mandatory. So if I go to page layout, this is a page layout assignment. If I go and page layout assignment, so I made only changes to the account layout, right? If there are other profiles like these who are using marketing layout or sales layout or support layout, this field is not mandatory on those layouts, right? So they will be able to save. But the people who are using account layout will not be able to save without giving the value. That is one way of doing it. For custom objects, you can do directly on the field level itself. If you go to field, I don't know if there are custom objects. SLA serial number is there. I don't know if this is number of location. is a normal. Yes. If you open a custom object, you see, here I can make this required. If I make this required and I go back to my accounts, you see, number of locations is now a required field. This you have to fill up. And this will affect all layouts. So it will become mandatory for all layouts. Yeah. For custom objects also, you can go to the layout and you can make it mandatory in the layout itself. So that will only affect that layout. Okay. So idea was to show you how to do that. So I will go back and remove this. Let us not make it mandatory here. But what if that I don't want to, there are many layouts in my org, and I have to go and change every layout, but I want to make it mandatory at the field level itself. If you do a mandatory check on the layout, then it will only be applicable for Salesforce, right? But if you are creating that account or inserting accounts from Workbench using data loader, anything, you will bypass that because that mandatory check will not happen for you. Layout is only for screen check. So whenever you are not using the screen, it does not matter. So if you open Workbench, you don't pass a value in account number, you can still create a record. But I want to block everywhere. I want to block even on data loading. Then what do I do? Then you have to change on the field level. If you are making this required, which is you can do on the custom objects, custom fields, that also affects your data loader. In data loader, you will not be able to bypass it. But what if the standard for standard fields, account number, I want to block this without giving the value. I don't want people to proceed even in data loading. Then what will I do? If I go to this field, down there is a validation rule. Ideal way of doing is the same thing. Here is a validation rule down below on the object manager. Here you create a new. Rule name is account number cannot be, account number is equal. What is a validation rule? Validation rule provides error messages for conditions you want to block. Or validation rule blocks saving of records in certain conditions. What is our condition? Our condition is account number cannot be blank. There are many ways of doing this. Insert field is just like a formula field. You see, same condition formula, same. So what will I do? I will first bring that field on which I want to do the calculation. So account number. You see that it is a type is text. So account number equal to, if I do a quotation, that means blank, right? Check syntax. This will work. What will I? If account number is equal to blank, what is the error? Account number is must. I want to show this error message on top of the page. I can do that, or just beside the field on which it is easy to find, right? So now let us test it. I refresh the screen. Okay. Here, please remember, the validation rule will not work, or you will not see it working because already there is a page layout related checking. So if you hit a save button, it will already complete. This field is already coming. So if you have already made it mandatory on the page layout, then this validation rule is always bypassed because you will be putting some value in that. So I will first go ahead and take out this mandatory check from this field. Now I go back to that record. I hope there will be no caching issue. Yes, gone. So now you see, if I do hit a save method, it is not showing me account number is needed because it is not mandatory check. The screen level is not checked. Is there. But I have to block user if they are not providing any value. Test validation rule. Let me save now. You see, my validation rule is now working. It is blocking me. It is saying me account number is must. Validation rule is not only used for blank check. Validation rule can be used for any kind of check. Validation rule can be used for doing a range check, any kind of check. So let me give you some examples. So if I go to application object, this is amount field, right? This amount field, I want to create a check on my validation rule is basically used for business check. So any kind of, you will be working in environments or you will be working for customers, client who want specific needs or requirements they will have for their specific business. So these kind of validation rule is the first step towards customizing Salesforce or configuring Salesforce for business, because Salesforce is generic, right? But every business will be different. A person who is selling shoes and a person who is selling telephones will have different business models, right? Some information is mandatory for that seller. Some information is mandatory for other sellers. So you need to have this validation rule to check for the business data that is actually needed in the system. Here, I want to make sure when the application is amount cannot be less than 10. I want to make sure whenever the application record is getting created, the amount cannot be less than 10. What will I do? I will go to amount less than 10. Check syntax. Amount cannot be less than 10. I show this beside the field, amount field. Save. Let's go to the account. Is the account? Create a list. I create an application now, and I want to put a 5. You see, now it is blocking me. It is saying account cannot be less than 10. This is exactly what I blocked. If I give 10, what will happen? Will it block me or save it?
It should save.
Why?
It should get saved. Because it's not less than 10, it's 10. So it should be like the condition should be then less than equal to 10.
Less than equal to 10. So if I want to block the 10, it is blocking me because the account number is a must, right? You see?
Okay. Yeah.
It is very important to understand that whenever you have a validation rule, what is happening here? Why this error is coming? This is an account validation, right? Because whenever I am putting some value here in the parent record, the total amount is changing, right? Whenever it is changing, it is basically, when it is calculating and saving the record, immediately it is getting a hit. Because now this account record, if you go to this account now, this account, and just edit and save, you will not be able to save it without putting these values. Now, if I go and create this app 6 and 10, it allows me to save. What if I want to block 10, including 10? I will make it, sorry, not this one. This one. Instead of less than, there is another thing, less than or equal. So I will use this one. Is than or equal. If I go back to this same record, if I go to that same record, edit it and save it, now it will not allow me. Because 10 is now blocked, right? Now I add 1 to it and then it allows me. So I have blocked it. So what if I want values, allowed values, to be between 50 to 100? Anything below 50, anything above 100, both I don't want. What changes I have to do here? Tell me, anybody who wants to give a try.
And function.
And function. Why and function?
Because then and will make sure that both of the conditions are fulfilled.
And condition. Okay, let's bring and. Here is an operator. There is also a function. We will get to that function later. So this is the and condition. So I'll bring this and condition here. First, and I am blocking the 50, right? This is the first condition, right?
Yes.
So I have to, less than 50 needs to be blocked, and amount __ C greater than 100 needs to be blocked, right? Let's make it easy. Less than 50 needs to be blocked, greater than 100 needs to be blocked. Cannot be less than, amount must be between 50 to 100. This is my requirement. So anything more than 100, I have to block. Anything less than 50, I have to block. What operator needs to be needed in these two conditions? This is condition 1, right? I need 2 conditions now, not only 1 condition. Till that time, I had 1 condition. If you write conditions one after another like this, it will not work. You will check the syntax. You will say syntax error. So I have to connect these 2 conditions with a logic. That logic is very important. There is only two types of logic. One is a AND logic and a OR logic. What is a AND logic and what is a OR logic? Two conditions can only be connected with a OR logic or a AND logic. What is the difference? When to use a OR, when to use a AND?
When I need both the conditions to be fulfilled, I will use AND.
Yeah.
And when I need only one to be fulfilled, I will use OR.
One to be fulfilled. So this blocker must come when both the condition needs to be fulfilled or one needs to be fulfilled.
Both.
Both. Think again. If I give a value of 45, the first condition satisfies. The second condition, does it satisfy?
No.
No. Then
No.
this blocker will not work. You want both the conditions to satisfy, right?
Yeah.
Very important to understand that whatever your requirement is, do not interpret that requirement directly to technical terms. Your requirement is amount cannot be less than 50 and cannot be greater than 100. Here I am using a word called AND. That does not mean your conditions will have an AND.
Okay.
You have to interpret logically this condition based on what is the requirement. If the requirement is saying less than 50 and more than 100 needs to be blocked, most of the time in logical requirement, when requirement will come from customer, the customer will only use AND because it is English. But that AND and this operator AND is not the same. Here I have to make sure how the logic of the application will work. I have created two conditions. This blocker must work when both the conditions satisfy or any of the conditions satisfy.
Both the conditions are satisfied, then only it will work. So
Both the condition, if it is satisfies, it will never work. Because if the amount given is 45, then both the condition will not satisfy, right?
Any one.
Absolutely. I am blocking, then any of the condition, like I will have to block anything which is below 50. I have to block anything over 100. So any means OR operator.
Yes.
All means AND operator. All conditions needs to be satisfied. It will never happen. When you put some amount field here, all the conditions will never be satisfied. Right? The conditions which you have chosen here, I will show you. This we can convert this to AND also. We'll see that. But here your condition, you have written that less than 50 and greater than 100, I have to block. So what is the condition? This condition, if satisfied, I will block it. If this condition satisfies, I will also block it. Right? So any, right? Any is OR. So I have put a OR operator. I can bring this together in one line. It is easier to see. There is another form of writing this same thing, which is based on formulas. There is a OR formula here. You see, OR logical 1, logical 2. So if you copy this one, paste it here, copy this one, paste it here, remove the rest. It is the same thing. It is easier to read and understand, right? If there are 2 or 3 conditions, you can use this operator. But if there are more conditions, then don't use this operator. It will not be possible for you to understand. So then you go to this functional logic. Both are the same. There is no difference. Okay. So OR conditions will apply to these conditions. Let's check this. Edit. Blocked. Amount must be between 50 to 100. Can I use 110? Blocked. Both condition is working, right? If I give 50 or 55, damn, it's working. That is exactly what I wanted, isn't it? Can I write now this condition differently? If I say amount greater than equal to 50, amount less than equal to 100, these are the conditions. I reversed it. Then this will be an OR operator or a AND operator. Think once again. These are the now conditions. Amount greater than equal to 50, amount lesser than equal to 100. Anybody? So this amount greater than equal to 50, amount less than equal to 100. This is what? This is basically the condition I want to bypass, right? When this condition is what I want. An amount should be 50 and 100. So I am writing a validation rule for blocking, right? So if I am writing this condition, this is the condition I want to allow. How will I write a blocker if I am giving this condition here? I have another operator called not. I put this here. Not. Not amount greater than equal to 50, not amount less than equal to 100. What will happen if I put a or a and? I want to now block it. Not means what? If this condition is not fulfilled. Any condition which is not this. So it is not greater than equal to 50. It is not greater than. I reverse the logical operator and put a node outside. Let's test it with OR. Allowed. Blocked. Working, right? So the same operator, if I reverse the operator inside and I put a not condition outside, it is actually the same. It's just like writing amount less than equal to not greater than equal to 50. Okay. Not greater than equal to 50 means less than equal to 50, right? Same thing. But what if I want to do this? I want to take the not outside from here. Rather, I say not condition here, outside of the hole. So I'm saying that reverse of inside condition, I want to be blocked. If it is not this condition, then block it. So allowed condition, reversing that by a not, needs to be blocked. So what is the allowed condition? Allowed condition is greater than equal to 50, lesser than equal to 10. Is it a or a and? Now, allowed condition is an and, right? I need all. This condition needs to be fulfilled. This condition needs also to be fulfilled. Then only I will allow. That means all conditions. That means and operator. Save. Let's test it once again. Locked. Locked. Allowed. So what is going on? My head is spinning. Something like this is happening for you guys. Not able to understand what is going on?
For me, yes. No, it's not paining, but like it's a little confusing because need to practice this.
Yeah. So what has happened is that there are some logic which you have to remember. So individual not of condition, not of condition 1 or condition 2 is equal to not of condition 1 and not of condition 2. Similarly, not of condition 1 and condition 2 is equal to not of condition 1 or not of condition 2. Is it clear? If you are using an OR operator and joining all the conditions together and then reversing it is similar to individually reversing these conditions and then joining it with AND. Same thing. You can write in this form or this form.
So it's kind of De Morgan's law, right?
Sorry?
So De Morgan's law. Like
It is that same law. No difference. It is an AND gate. NAND gate, I don't know if you guys Anybody has any exposure of that? People who have worked with gates know this very well. This same logic applies for electricity also in your home or electronics also. The same logic. So same, not condition. If I am joining all conditions via an and then reversing it, individually the condition, if I reverse, I have to join it via or. This reverses. Please remember this. This will help out writing your validation rules very quickly, because validation rule many times from customer you will get the allowed values. So if you get the allowed values from customer, always try to use allowed values when you get from customer. Always try to use this version. It's easier. This is exactly what we did, right? We put all the conditions together, joined them with an and then reversed it and blocked it. When you get an allowed condition from customers, they will give you a data range which is allowed. They are not giving you what is not allowed. If that is the way question is asked, it is very easy to use this technique to block or create your validation rules. Use AND operator, all the condition put together, and then do a not. That's it. Block everything else. Not means in whatever is inside it, reverse it. Anything outside of these conditions, block it. And if you are getting from customers blockers that this must be blocked, yeah, in that case try to use this condition. Oh, this needs to be blocked. So in that case you put not this one, sorry, forget this. If you're getting what needs to be blocked, in that case just use a OR condition and add them just like with the OR clause. That's it. No knotting is required. Just the conditions and OR condition. If the customer is already giving you the conditions to block, then just mention those conditions and put a OR clause. And that's it. Your validation rule is ready. But if the customer is not giving you the condition to block, customer is giving the allowed condition, in that case, put all the conditions inside and then do a not. Easy? So this is for blocker conditions if customer give it. This is for allowed condition if customer gives it. This is the easiest way of writing your validation rules. Try practicing this. I think without practice, you will not understand the OR and things. It can get very confusing. Don't worry about it. It takes practice and practice and practice to master it. But it is very important. Any questions? Otherwise, we'll close the call today. I think a lot of materials for you to play around.